Hello, these are your notes over day 2 of area of a parallelogram. Yesterday we discussed how a parallelogram has 2 sets of parallel sides. So the bases are the same and then the diagonals are the same, which makes it a parallelogram. Okay. We also discussed the formula for area of a parallelogram is base times height. And as we go through the chapter learning different formulas for different polygons, the formula will always go on the top line. You're going to substitute on the second line and then begin to solve on lines 3 and eventually 4 and 5. Okay, area of a parallelogram. The base, okay, is obviously the bottom of the parallelogram. So the base is going to be 30 feet. The height, remember yesterday we talked about you do not use the diagonal, okay? You always use the straight vertical line, okay? So I'm going to highlight it in yellow. The height is the straight up and down line, vertical. So our height on this one is 50 feet. So, and then to find the area, we'll do base times height, 30 times 50. And you should be showing your work on your page as well. So we have 1,500, and we must get into the routine of labeling our work now. So if you look at these dimensions, they're in feet. So we're going to say feet squared to the second power. It's got a length or a base and a height. So the amount of space inside is the area. So 1,500 feet squared. Okay. The second one, it doesn't have a picture for us to use, but that's okay. It gives us a B and an H. So we know there's a base and a height. So we know this is also a parallelogram. So again, we're going to write the formula on line 1. We're going to substitute in 5 and 2/10 for the base and 3 and 3/10 for the height. And then we're going to solve. So again, I should see this work on your paper, please. 3 times 3 is 2, 3 times 5 is 15, scooch over, 3 times 2, and 3 times 5. And then remember that when we're multiplying with decimals, we count the numbers and move it back in for our answer. So our answer is 17 and 1600ths. Look at your label. Inches squared. Okay, so that was a review from yesterday, or from day 1. Now we're going to go one step harder. And the direction says to find the area of the shaded region. Okay, so I know it's a little hard to see, but the shaded region is this whole parallelogram, except for that rectangle in the inside of it. So to find the area of everything that is shaded, we're going to find the area of the entire parallelogram, and then we're going to subtract out or take out the area of that rectangle. Okay, so we're going to show our work very specifically. We're going to start with area of the parallelogram. Again, here's the base. 7 feet is the base. And remember, the height is the straight, vertical, up and down line. So that gives us a 5. So to find the area of that parallelogram, it would be 7 times 5, 35 feet squared. Now it would be 35 feet squared if the rectangle inside was shaded, but it's not. So we are subtracting out. So we're going to put a minus sign. To find the area of a rectangle, that is length times width. And then we're going to put the dimensions of the rectangle. The length is 3, the width is 1, so 3 times 1. The area of that rectangle is 3 feet squared. Bring this minus sign down. So the parallelogram, 35 feet squared, take out the area of that rectangle that's not shaded, 35 minus 3. The area of the shaded region, 35 minus 3 is 32 feet squared. So that's it for today, okay? We're going to just take out a region that is not shaded. Okay, keep going. Here's another picture. Again, it didn't get copied real well on your copy. You make a photo prop for a school fair. You cut a 10-inch square out of a parallelogram shaped piece of wood. What is the area of the photo prop? So again, if you look closely, and I know the picture's not wonderful, here is the parallelogram. Oops. And everything is shaded except for his face, where, you know, people put their face in to take a picture. So that is a square that we're going to have to subtract out from the total area. So we're going to have the area of the parallelogram, the whole area, and then we're going to take out the area of that face, that square. Okay. Okay, so here we go. First thing we need to do is notice, okay, that this is in feet and this is in feet. Unfortunately, his face is in inches, okay? So the first thing we need to do is to convert everything to the same unit. So it all needs to be in inches or it all needs to be in feet. Unfortunately, we can't do feet because 10 inches is less than 1 foot, right? 12 inches is 1 foot. So we're going to convert everything else to inches. So 12 inches are in a foot, and the height of this parallelogram is 8 feet. So we're going to do 12 times 8, which is 96 inches. Up here, the base of the parallelogram is 4 feet, and again, 12 inches in a foot, 12 times 4, that would be 48 inches. Okay, so that was the first thing we're going to do. Okay, now let's find the area. Okay, the area of a parallelogram is base times height. We now know that the base is 48 inches and the height is 96 inches. So 48 for the base, 96 for the height. Let's find area. Please use the space below to show your work. So the area of that parallelogram is 4,608 inches squared. And we're going to subtract out what's not shaded. That's a square, so we can just say, you could do base times height or length times width, okay? So again, this is a square, so if one side is 10 inches, if also all sides are 10 inches, so the length is 10 and the width is 10 since it's a square. So the area of the cutout that's not shaded would be a 10 inch by 10 inch or 100 square inches. So now the last step is to subtract out the area that is not shaded. So we have 4,608 minus 100. So the area that is shaded would be 4,508 square inches. That one was a little bit more tricky because they did not have the same dimensions. Okay. Okay, now for your assignment. Okay, what I would like for you to do is to pause the video and do numbers 1 and 2, and then unpause, and then we'll do the rest together. Okay. Okay, number 1. Okay, all of these lines are showing you or are reminding you that the formula goes on line 1. We're going to substitute on line 2. 14 is the base. The height is the straight vertical line. And somewhere on this page, you should have your work for 14 times 12. And then be sure you label it. You should have labeled it inches squared. So we should get 168 square inches is the area, the amount of space inside this parallelogram. Okay, let's look at number 2. Area of a parallelogram is base times height. The base is 5, the height, that straight vertical line, is 11. So we're going to do 5 times 11, which is 55, look at the label, centimeters squared. Okay, and again, area, the amount of space inside this parallelogram. 2 sides with parallel sides. Okay, starting with 3 and 4, now it's going to do the ones that we did on our notes today. So you're finding the area of the shaded region. So if you look closely, there is a region that is not shaded. So you're going to take that part out. Okay, so we're just finding the area of the shaded portion of the parallelogram. Okay, and there's so many lines because I'm trying to get you to show your work. So the area of a parallelogram, the entire parallelogram, 4 is your base. And what do you think the height is? Do not use a diagonal. Okay, the height is 6. Actually, that too is just telling you what that inside of that rectangle is, so you wouldn't use that anyway. So 4 is your base, 6 is your height. So the area of the entire parallelogram is 24 meters squared. However, there's a portion that is not shaded, so you're going to subtract out the area of that rectangle. You could use base times height, or you can use length times width. The base is 3, the height is 2. So you should see, I'll do it in a different color, 3 by 2. So 3 by 2, the area of the rectangle is 6 meters squared. And now you're going to subtract the 24 minus 6, which is 18 meters squared, is the area of the shaded region. Okay, here's what I would like for you to do. Let's make sure you know what you're doing. I would like for you to do number 4 on your own. So pause the video, do number 4, and then unpause, and let's see if you're correct. Okay, we are doing the area of the shaded region. So there is a rectangle inside that is not shaded. So we're first going to find the area of the entire parallelogram. You should have used 10 for your base, and this straight vertical dotted line, 7 for your height. So that gives you 70 feet squared. Did you label yours? Now there's a portion of the rectangle that's not shaded. There's a rectangle inside. That rectangle is 2 feet by 4 feet. 2 by 4 is 8 feet squared. So now we're going to subtract that rectangle out since it is not shaded. So 70 minus 8, the entire figure that's shaded would be 62 feet squared, because 70 minus 8 is 62. Okay. Okay, and then we've got a few word problems. Okay. Again, very similar to our notes. Okay. So a stained glass window has an area. So it's already telling you that the area of a stained glass window is 900 square inches. Okay. One window design is made of a rectangular stained glass that is 5 inch by 3 inch. So listen, one rectangular piece is 5 inches by 3 inches. How many of those stained pieces are used to make the window? So remember that the window is 900 square inches, okay? So if you're thinking about base times height, the area, it gave it to us, 900. One little piece, okay, is 15 inches squared. How do I know it's 15 inches squared? Because base times height is 15. I need to figure out how many of those pieces are made up for this stained glass window. Okay, when I think of a stained glass window, I think of like churches where they have all like the different colored of pieces of glass, and they place them all together to make like murals and stuff. Okay, that's what a stained glass window is. Okay, so what we're going to do is do 15 times something is 900. I don't know what that is. So I'm going to divide 900 by 15. You can sit there and guess and check 15 times 7, 15 times 10, 15 times 12, okay? But the easier way is just to do 900 divided by 15. So 15 doesn't go into 9. 15 will go into 96 times, because 15 times 6, 30, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 90. Bring your 0 down. 15 into 0 goes 0 times. So 60 times 15 is 900. So how many stained glasses can fit inside there? 60 pieces. Okay, so that one we had to work backwards. That one was a tricky one. Okay. Here's another problem, very similar. Another window design, so a different one, is a square stained glass piece that is 6 inches by 6 inches. Okay, so it's a square. It's a 6 by 6. So what's the area of that square? 6 times 6 is 36 inches squared. Okay. How many stained glass pieces are used in the window? And again, the window is 900 square inches. So here's our area. It already told us that the area is 900. We know that one piece takes up 36 square inches. How many pieces can fit into that window? So 36 times something is 900. Okay, again, instead of doing 36 times 5, 36 times 10, 36 times 12, and guessing until you get to 900, just divide. 900 divided by 36. Do the inverse. Okay, I know that 36 times 2 is 72. So it goes in twice. I'm going to have to borrow. to get 18, bring down that last number, and then I want to say times 5, times 6 is 30, 15, 16, 17, 18. There we go. So it goes in 5 times, which is 180. So how many stained glass pieces are used for the window? 25 pieces. Okay, guys. 5 and 6 were definitely a challenge, or 5A and 5B. What I'm most concerned that you are able to understand, okay, are problems like 3 and 4 today. I already know you know how to do 1 and 2, but the ones that I want you to be able to do is 3 and 4, okay, and the like up here, okay, finding the area of the shaded region. Okay? All right, I will see you tomorrow.